Have you ever had one of those moments where you suddenly stop, look around, and then quietly wonder, when did life become so serious? Maybe somewhere along the way between responsibilities, appointments, stress, trying to keep everything together, you stopped feeling fully like yourself. And maybe you've become incredibly good at surviving, holding things together, managing, coping, showing up, doing what needs to be done. And honestly, that deserves 100% recognition because survival takes energy. But maybe also, especially now, in the middle of summer for some of you, or winter pause for others, with school holidays or slower mornings, travel and family time, or simply a different rhythm, there is also a little whisper inside saying, I want to feel more like me again, craving for the life back again. And maybe you want more lightness or more calm, more joy, more laughter, more softness, or more connection. Maybe you want to feel more alive again. Or maybe you are not even sure of what you want. You just know something in you is longing for a softer way of being. And if any of that sounds familiar, let's explore that together because that's a really interesting topic to connect and reconnect again. So grab a glass of water if you want, or a warm cup of tea. And if you can, just sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Hello, and a warm welcome to my podcast show, Your Fertility Counselor. I'm your host, Tanya Fessler, and together we will dive into all things fertility, offering support, expert insights, and practical evidence-based advice for anyone navigating their fertility journey. So grab a cup of tea and make yourself comfortable. Let's get started. Hello and a warm welcome back. Today we begin a brand new July mini-series, Be, Do, and Become. And I want this month to feel different, lighter, kinder, more spacious, more special, and less about fixing yourself and more about reconnecting. Reconnecting with yourself, with the people you love, with joy, with possibilities, and maybe even with parts of yourself you haven't met in a while. Because here is something I've been reflecting on lately. So often we focus on what we want to achieve before asking, who do I want to be? We chase goals and we are really good in that. Outcomes or timelines, or then we seek answers. And of course, many of us are carrying dreams that matter deeply. A relationship or a family, healing, peace, feeling like ourselves again. But before all of that, there is something softer worth exploring. Who am I becoming in the process? Because perhaps becoming the person you want to be isn't about becoming someone entirely new. Maybe it's about returning to parts of yourself that got buried underneath stress, underneath everyday activities, lots of distractions. So that playful part of me, the hopeful part of me, the softer part, the brave part, the deeply loving part, the version of you that laughs more easily, feels more connected, feels safe enough to exhale. And maybe today, instead of asking, what do I want to achieve? We gently ask, how do I want to feel? Because feelings shape identity more than goals do. Do you want to feel calm or playful? connected, courageous, or maybe gentle, lighter, or more present, loved, or loving. I just really had a great conversation with someone who was sharing how she lost her mom a couple of years ago. And her mom was the one giving her that love, that unconditional love, holding that space for her whenever she needed it. Felt like a cave to her. To be able to retreat in that and then just be. And we were exploring ways on how to create that for yourself again. So here is something important I want to say. You do not need permission to become softer or happier or lighter, especially if life has been hard. Sometimes after stress or disappointment or fertility journeys for some or grief for others, we almost forget we are allowed to feel joy again, allowed to feel lightness, and allowed to reconnect with beauty, with ourselves, with love. And maybe the person you want to become is not someone who has it all figured out. Maybe she is simply someone who says, I want to meet life with more kindness. I want to feel more present. I want to laugh again. I want to trust myself more. So today, let me offer you 3 gentle reflections, not goals and no pressure, just invitations for those who find this helpful. The first one is this. Notice who you are when you feel most like yourself. Who are you in that moment? What energy do you bring? What feels different? Are you slower or faster? Do you feel lighter, more playful, more grounded perhaps, more open, more curious? Sometimes becoming starts with remembering. For me, it would be definitely wearing pink glasses and feeling playful and curious. Curious about what this day has to bring. And then just feeling that incredible energy of riding that wave in whichever way it evolves in front of me. Just let it evolve and carry me. Another reflection I wanted to share is you are allowed to want joy. Sometimes people feel that if they experience a loss or something that was really feeling heavy, they can't be joyful. They can't allow themselves to feel joyful. And what I share with them, even if life feels complicated, even if you're still healing, even if you're still recovering from a trauma, from a loss, even if things are uncertain, joy and struggle can coexist together. They truly can. Lightness and sadness can sit side by side. You don't have to earn happiness, and you don't have to complete the grieving process first before you can experience joy again or lightness. Absolutely not. It can absolutely coexist. And in fact, experiencing joy and lightness can instill the healing process in a very beautiful way, in an empowering way, in a caring, loving way. My third reflection that I want to share for today is becoming begins in tiny moments. It's about those tiny choices that I keep repeating. It's about those tiny pauses, tiny ways of treating yourself differently. Not dramatic reinventions, just gentle becoming. And before we close today, I want to invite you to a small visualization. Nothing complicated, just a moment to reconnect. If it feels okay, take a slow breath and maybe soften your shoulders. And now imagine yourself 6 months from now, or whatever time feels right. Not perfect, not transformed, just gently evolved. Picture that person, that version of yourself for a moment. How does she or he move through the world? What energy is being carried? How does that version of you speak? What matters to her or him? How does she or he love? How is that version of you resting? And how is that version taking care of themselves? And then gently ask yourself, what feels true about that version of me already inside me today? Because perhaps becoming is less about chasing someone new and more about uncovering who has been there all along. So as we move through this July together, my invitation for you is simple. To be curious, be gentle, and maybe allow yourself to reconnect with what feels alive again. So thank you. Thank you for being here with me today, for tuning in, being part of this community that is growing with every week. I'm so proud of all of you to tune in and stay connected, because this is what matters for yourself, for your own growth, for your own love and beauty from the inside and outside. So if you feel that this would be helpful for someone you care, please share. Always thankful for your help to keep sharing. So until then, take gentle care of yourself, and I shall see you next week again. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fertility Counselor podcast. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. If you need support or have any questions, reach out to us via email at inquiries@counselingconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Fertility Connects. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about us and the services we offer, head to www.fertilityconnects.com. And if you're looking for support beyond fertility, visit www.counselingconnects.com. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.